Fight. Since you lost, what's up, Jake? Where you going, Jake? Oh, he's running! He's running! Look at him!
Gervonta Davis just blindsided Jake Paul with a punch that shook the entire internet right outside Miami International Airport. No cameras, no ring, no rules. Just raw beef spilling into real life. Witnesses were screaming. Security scrambled. Phones flew into the air as two of boxing's biggest names tanked, and the problem child nearly turned an airport terminal into a war zone. And you're probably wondering, what could have pushed Tank that far?
After Canelo, obviously, didn't materialize, was the next one Tank?
Yeah. I mean, that was on the 1 yard line as well, but he has to rematch, Lamont Roach. He wants to get that back. And then we'll be back in discussions with Mr. Gervonta. But, man, this is the nature of boxing. You have massive fights on the 1 yard line and things just fall through.
As you're watching, like, he was a gigantic favorite, and this is on the heels of the Canelo thing. Are you like, what the fuck is going on here?
I don't know, though, because I never really thought Tank was that good. It would just take the right fighter to pick him apart, to be honest. Someone who had high activity and wasn't afraid of his power. So I always saw so many holes in his game. So to me, it wasn't that surprising that someone finally gave him some good work.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195.
Oh, wow. So he would go all the way from 40 to 95?
Yeah, I mean, it would be an exhibition.
Okay. But, and so what does that mean? Is that 3-minute rounds?
Yeah, 10 3-minute rounds.
And when you say exhibition, like, what are the restrictions on that?
No restrictions, just the fact that, like, we couldn't actually get it professionally sanctioned.
Okay. Is that still of interest to you? Like, if he wins the rematch and you beat Julio, is that of great interest to you later this year?
For sure.
Gervonta Davis just caught Jake Paul off guard with a punch that shook the internet, right outside Miami International Airport. No cameras, no ring, no rules. Just a real-life fight breaking out. People were screaming, security rushed in, and phones were everywhere. Two of boxing's biggest stars, Tank and the Problem Child, almost turned an airport into a full-on battlefield. And you're probably thinking, what made Tank snap like that?
Who were you gonna call out? What was the plan originally?
I think he was here. He came in my locker room.
Shakur Stevenson?
He wasn't in my locker room.
Jake Paul?
Next question.
This time, Jake picked the wrong guy to mess with. Gervonta Davis isn't like Jake's other opponents. He doesn't do silly internet games. He's real, made tough by hard fights and tough life lessons. Tank is not here to play.
Tank Davis, bad dude. See, what I like about Tank is Tank brings something different. Back in the days, everybody had something. Muhammad Ali was a mover boxer. George was a puncher. Ernest Shavers was a puncher. Everybody had something they brought to the table. Larry Holmes had a jab. Mike Weaver had overhand right. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has something. That division now is full, and Tank having to be the knockout guy of the division. Mm-hmm. He the one with the main knockout power. Garcia has it too, but Tank got that real knockout power that, like, if Tank hit one of them clean, usually they gonna have a problem. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I like Tank. Every now and then, I think when he knows he can beat somebody, he probably don't lock in as hard, but I think when they bring challenges, he locks in.
Yeah, he fights to the level of his competition. He was doing that a lot.
And he got to be careful of that.
2 fights ago, he was really doing that.
You feel me? So you got to be careful of that, because if you come in and think somebody is not at your level and you underestimate them, it can get you beat. So that's the only thing I think you got to be careful of. Other than that.
So when Jake made fun of Tank's legal troubles, calling him a walking headline, it hit different. Tank didn't laugh, and he definitely didn't forget.
Baltimore native and boxing champ Gervonta Tank Davis is sent to jail less than a month after he was ordered to serve 3 months of home detention. He was taken into custody after an impromptu hearing yesterday. And now he will finish his 90-day sentence in the Baltimore City jail. Deputies say Davis violated the terms of his home detention sentence in a 2020 hit-and-run crash. He said his home was too small, so he moved to the Four Seasons Hotel, but did not get permission from the judge. He received his 90-day sentence after pleading guilty in February to a crash that injured 4 people.
And when Jake made fun of Tank's problems with Floyd Mayweather, saying he was just another guy stuck in Floyd's shadow, that's when things really went too far.
Oh, Lord. I'm sorry. I'm just in a silly, goofy mood.
Tank didn't clap back online, but behind closed doors, he was watching, waiting, getting more and more fired up. Fast forward to Miami International Airport. Tank had just landed for a private meeting with his team before his rematch with Lamont Roach. Jake? He was coming back from a business trip, still hyped from beating Mike Tyson in their headline-grabbing exhibition fight.
I actually nice to get that What's going on?
What's up, Floyd?
I can have what I want.
What you mean with the camera? Oh, you got cameras. So who you supposed to be?
When they saw each other, it was like watching 2 live grenades bump into each other. Witnesses said the tension was instant. No words, no handshake, just pure anger. Then it exploded. Tank closed the gap with the lightning speed that's made him one of the most feared punchers in the sport. Yep, Jake took the same kind of punch Frank Martin felt when he faced Tank in the ring. But this time, there was no ring, just wild, unfiltered chaos. The internet went wild. Fans everywhere were freaking out. Some said Jake had it coming after running his mouth for months. Others thought Tank took it too far and should have saved that punch for an actual match in the ring.
All right, Jake, I'm filming.
So guys, I'm in the hospital. I had an accident. I'm still going to be able to fight August 6th. So get your tickets at msg.com before they sell out. But I broke my back carrying the promotion for this event. It's broken.
So, Jake, you good?
Nurse!
Jake,
Nurse, more morphine!
Oh my God.
I broke my back carrying the last 5 fights promotion.
You're used to this.
My opponents never sell
Do
shit. Oh, it hurts!
You want
Do something.
It hurts!
Mouth?
These motherfuckers never sell shit! They couldn't sell a pen to a writer!
So why did Tank really snap? Let's be honest, he's been under a ton of pressure lately. He had a rough breakup with his longtime coach Calvin Ford. He's trying to prove he can win without Floyd Mayweather in his corner. On top of that, he's facing legal trouble and federal investigations, and Jake, he's everything Tank hates about today's boxing world: viral fame, fake hype, and huge paydays without the real struggle.
Called clown following the Tyson fight. Tell us, exactly why it's found on that.
Cause why would he even want to fight him? And who told Mike Tyson to fight anyway?
Do you think that it might have tarnished Mike's legacy in a way?
Yeah, they did. They definitely did.
Jake's win over Mike Tyson in July just made things worse. And let's just say, Tank didn't like seeing Jake fight a legend like that. So when Jake started making fun of Tank's personal life, his coach drama, and even his jail time, it wasn't just trash talk. For Tank, it was deep. That punch in Miami wasn't for show, it was about demanding respect.
Do you think that it's fair to call them boxers now? Let's talk about Logan Brothers.
I think it's okay to call Jake Paul a boxer. The only reason why I say that is because he do be in the gym. He's working on stuff. The fight that he fought Mike Tyson, I don't think he should have fought Mike Tyson because of who Mike Tyson is and the age. And he said that he didn't try to knock him out. Yes, you did. You just couldn't get the knockout. And he tried to knock him out for sure.
But not everyone is convinced the airport drama was real. More and more fans think the whole thing was staged, carefully planned to stir up buzz. And now it's official. Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul is going down this November.
Maybe it can be. It's not a terrible fight. We know that Gervonta's going to fight Jake Paul in November. And then we'll see what happens.
Eddie Hearn dropped the big news himself, saying the fight is locked in right after Tank finishes his business with Lamont Roach in August. For some people, it all feels too perfect. The airport punch? Way too clean. The silence from both teams? A little too planned.
I gotta ask you, how real or what was to it with you and Tank actually being a thing? Was that something that was talked about?
Yeah, no, it was highly talked about and in negotiations and almost ready to make happen, but he has to do his rematch with Lamont and get that W, and then we'll be able to run it back. But me and Gervonta were scheduled to fight for sure.
And since both fighters love the spotlight, many believe the whole scene was a setup, a smart publicity move to get people talking and boost pay-per-view sales. Let's be honest, this fight doesn't really make sense for Tank's career.
This might be the worst thing that ever happened in the history of humanity. Jake Paul is set to fight Gervonta Tank Davis in November. This is ridiculous. First of all, Tank, I know you're known for not taking the hardest fights, but you at least fight actual boxers. What are you doing? You know, besides getting that bag. Second, Jake, why are you doing this? You're a bad person. Let's ignore the fact that I have personally watched this man rob a PF Chang's. Let's talk about his refusal to fight real boxers. He gets criticized for refusing to fight real boxers, so he fights Mike Tyson, a 60-year-old boxer. He gets criticized for fighting a 60-year-old boxer, so he fights a current championship boxer who is literally 100 pounds lighter than him. Tank Davis is a lightweight, 135 pounds. Jake Paul is a cruiserweight, 235 pounds. You're never beating this fraud allegation, Jake, so why are you doing this? What do you guys think of this fight? And don't tell me anything good. Say it in the comments, though.
Imagine this. Tank destroys Lamont Roach in August, no drama, just dominance. The comeback is complete, the critics shut up, and Tank looks unstoppable. You'd expect him to face Shakur Stevenson, or maybe a rematch with Devin Haney, right? Nope. Instead, he's chasing a Netflix payday with a YouTuber.
When we wanted the Loma fight, when it was in its prime, him and Mayweather, their team just, they just danced around it. When we wanted the Devin fight for Undisputed, the belts don't matter. I could just give them to my kids because everybody's winning belts. Shakur, he's easy work, he's boring, but you don't want to unify against him. Keyshawn might have a chance. You feel me? It's just disgusting. We wanted the Bud fight too after he called him out, and we also would have took a Teofimo Lopez fight. But then his fans would say, oh, but they're too big. They're not in his weight class. What the fuck is Jake Paul? This is the bullshit I be talking about. Like, this shit does nothing for the sport of boxing, but in terms of the division of 135, it doesn't do jack shit.
Try to make it make sense. Now flip the situation. Imagine Tank loses to Roach. That would be 2 losses in a row. And let's be real, Roach almost won the first one. If the ref had ruled that knockdown, things might have gone different. If Tank messes up the rematch, who's really going to care about a fight with Jake Paul? No one wants to see a guy fresh off a loss step into the ring with Jake.
Didn't say you got your eye on Tank. What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
It would look like a desperate move, like someone who's done with serious fights and just wants a quick, easy payday.
What you think of former athletes and celebrities like Jake Paul taking up boxing? You think that grows the sport?
If he's doing it for the right reason, actually want to do it because of just like actually want to box, it's cool. But if he's doing it for like the wrong reason, just to get the hype and stuff like that, I feel as though it's trash. Sometimes people get bored at what they want, what they doing, and they want to try other stuff. Got to be mentally tough to be able to box. So that's why I don't take that away from some fighters or some people that want to jump into the sport. So just show how tough you are. That's how it should be.
For sure. That's all I got. Thank you, bro.
Sure. Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
And to be honest, that's exactly what people are starting to say. Just look at the signs. Tank has been talking about quitting. He even said boxing feels boring now.
Are you retiring?
Are you losing the trash? What changed? What made this shit trash? Garbage.
If you got the opportunity to sign a prospect for GTD, who will be?
I'm out of it.
Gervonta, something should have happened during this time, because when I saw you at the Frank Martin press conference, it looked like you were like the talks about retirement was not even discussed at this moment, and now it's something you keep on repeating. Is it just because obviously what you've done through boxing since you were a kid and everything?
Fed up with the whole
Where's Calvin Ford? Is Calvin Ford or Leonard Edelby usually they're around to?
You think you might regain the love for it though? You never know. Like you say, you got to walk today.
Oh, and here's the kicker. Tank's been spotted smoking during training camp. Yeah, the same camp for his rematch with Roach. No wonder he almost got beat the first time.
It's been to the streets. I know you ain't focused. Better tighten up.
That's why I got everybody out of there. That's why I got everybody out of there. Can they see my page now?
Better
Can they
tighten
see my
up.
page now?
He even cut ties with Calvin Ford, the one coach who had been with him since the beginning.
Something is definitely going on between Calvin Ford and Gervonta Davis. Now, we all seen that knockdown in the 9th round, but what you probably didn't see is what happened after that in between rounds. Check this out. Coach Barry Hunter trained Tank for this fight with Lamont Roach, not Calvin Ford. A lot of people were saying that this performance has something to do with that. So, is something really going on between Calvin Ford and Tank Davis? Check out what Tank had to say.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to the crowd. You know what I mean? I was more so. It's something we gotta work on in the corner, for sure.
Everything Tank's been doing lately screams, I'm done with boxing. So why take the Jake Paul fight? Easy. Money. Tank's not chasing belts anymore. He's chasing big paydays. And say what you want about Jake Paul, but he brings views, clicks, hype, and most importantly, huge checks.
Is it true that you made $170 million from this fight?
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever.
60 million households, Jake.
250 million people.
Bro, that is so...
It's all downhill from here.
No, for sure.
I peaked.
Jake's fight with Tyson broke Netflix streaming records. If Netflix picks up Tank's fight too, we're talking over $50 million. Easy. That's way more than he'd make fighting Shakur or Haney combined.
Is it true that you made $170 million from this fight?
I made a lot of money, the most money I've made ever.
60 million households, Jake.
250 million people.
Bro, that is so...
It's all downhill from here.
No, for sure.
I peaked.
But before Tank can think about Jake Paul, he's got to handle Lamont Roach. And that's no easy job. Fans are already pumped for Tank versus Jake. But first, let's talk about how crazy this really is. Jake Paul just said he's fighting at 195 pounds. That's heavyweight territory.
You live and you learn. I definitely could have. That was on me too. That was on me for sure. Cause I ain't pick it up when I supposed to pick it up, and I could have definitely did more. Definitely did more. He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of the moments. But I think I was boxing too much in the beginning, and when I felt like he was slow, it was just already late down the line type of thing. But I should have pressed the issue. I could have stopped him. It's me. Definitely my fault.
If you do fight, what weight would it be at?
195. It would be an exhibition.
Okay, so it was going to be an exhibition, not sanctioned, but no restrictions. You can knock each other out and shit like that. It was going to be at a catch weight of 195 pounds, 10 rounds, 3 minutes. I've been trying to figure this out. Why was I a Tank hater for wanting to see Tank go up 5 pounds to get some smoke with like Teofimo Lopez or something? I just wanted to see him go up 5 pounds and fight Teofimo Lopez. And all of you were saying, you want Tank hurt, Showbiz. You a hater. You want him hurt. Then I'm convinced, okay, he's too small, but he can fight Jake at 195?
Yeah, no, we're working on it behind the scenes to make that happen, and obviously that's a fight where the fans are gonna win, and it's gonna be the biggest event of the year.
What weight would you fight him at?
We're working on it, but it'd be an exhibition most likely.